The World Trade Organization will have an African at the top for the first time, who also becomes the first female Director General of the 164 country member state body. Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala takes up office on March the 1st after a unanimous endorsement on Monday. This evening, we'll tell you more about the former Nigerian finance minister who walks into an organization in Geneva whose persuasive power seems to be eroding. Good evening, I'm Aldrin Simpier, and this is African Perspective. And straight into that story, we'll start off here in Nigeria, where SABC reporter Phil Ihaza is joining us for a reaction on the appointment of the World Trade Organization's Director General elect, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. She heads to Geneva later this month, where she will start her 4-year term. Phil, good afternoon, rather good evening, and welcome to the show. What was the reaction like on Monday after the announcement?
Well, thank you, Aldrin. Indeed, it's been a lot of celebration. It's been a very elated mood among majority of Nigerians, especially women and young girls here. In fact, the whole of social media has been abuzz with quite a number of activities with regards to the congratulatory messages, the reactions with the fact that a Nigerian, in the person of Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, has made history, becoming the first woman and, of course, the first African to head such a huge job. That's the Director General of the World Trade Organization. If you look at social media, you'd see trends, hashtags like "Be like Ngozi." You see trends like Ankara Army. So they are trying to actually look like Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. They're putting on her signature outfit that has this African wax clothing, which is also known as Ankara, from head to toe. They are trying to speak like her. It has indeed brought a beacon of hope and light to many women and young girls. They're now beginning to believe that anything is possible. They're beginning to believe that they can actually rise to any height in their various endeavors. So it's been really one of a positive news that has hit Nigeria at a time like this.
And speaking about the Ankara, I saw a tweet earlier on this week as well, where someone was saying that look at Dr. Okonjo as she walks into the space which is about trade, where you normally have people wearing power suits. But here she walks into the space as a woman, a black female at that, and she's proudly wearing that Ankara.
That's very true, Aldrin. You can say that again. I mean, imagine her walking into quite a number of people, especially foreigners. If you look at it that way, they were putting on, jackets and suits. But she walked majestically into that auditorium with her, proudly with her Ankara from head to toe. She has, of course, the necklace, and that's all very simple, but very, very tough to deal with when it comes to doing her job. They see her as someone that would definitely turn the tables around and rebrand and reposition the World Trade Organization, especially at a time where the world economies are failing as a result of the pandemic. These are some of the cardinal points, actually, that Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala has said. She will be focusing on trade and, of course, health.
Yeah. What are some of the expectations from some of the Nigerians, and especially those who perhaps who have worked with her, but have also lived under her Ministry of Finance?
Well, so there's a lot of expectations from Nigerians, especially, if you look at the debt profile of Nigeria at the moment, Nigeria has a debt profile of an all-time high at $92 billion. Now, if you recall, when she was Nigeria's finance minister, she played a huge role in writing off Nigeria's debt during the Obasanjo regime. And these were some of because of the fact that she had a very strong negotiation powers, she was able to, help Nigeria in terms of debt relief. So some analysts, economic analysts, are saying that with her clout at this time where there's world trade on the table, where she'll be dealing with over 164 countries, that of course the Nigeria's debt profile will be something she may be looking into. And then of course there's the African Trade Agreement, which is supposed to have kicked off before now, and but they're still looking at quite a number of bureaucracies, protocols between the nations in Africa. It's supposed to be something that will transform the entire commerce industry on the continent. And so they're saying that with the emergence of Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala in that kind of capacity and position, she will be able to influence the African Free Trade Agreement to kickstart anytime soon, and that would of course bring a lot of economic stability to developing nations on the continent.
And certainly a bit later on, we will be joined by Aluyi Abubakar, the Director of Nigeria's Federal Ministry for Trade and Industry, to speak exactly to that point about the African Free Trade Area Agreement. And also Mxolisi Ngulube will be joining us for that conversation as well. Then let's quickly speak then about the 2 terms when she served as the Finance Minister. And now as she walks into the WTO, she speaks about reforms. Are there any reforms that you can point to that you can say that this has the hallmark of Dr. Okonjo while she was a Minister of Finance?
Well, one key reform I know that Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala has brought to the Nigerian space will have to be her passion to ensure that the child education, the girl-child rights are, properly adhered to. This is something that she even spoke about when she assumed, when she took that appointment or after the announcement on Monday. She uses her influence and her position in spite of whatever office, especially when she was Nigeria's finance minister. She pointed out the fact that in different ministries in Nigeria, what she was able to do through the Goodluck Jonathan administration was that she was able to convince the president at the time, that's Goodluck Jonathan, to be able to expand the various ministries, their budget when it has to deal with the girl child. So she spoke to, for example, the Ministry of Health at that time to include some other projects that would impact rural areas, that would impact the girl child, maybe their health, for example, curing the FGM, the female genital mutilation that was on the rise in Nigeria. And once they were able to include all of those projects that was directed to females or young girls, the president had her ears and they were able to expand those budgets. So she brought a lot of reforms when it comes to, the girl child. Of course, she was also very hard in terms of spending. She has a very, very tight hand to ensure that, funds are not wasted. And that, of course, reduced to a large extent corruption and wastage in the civil service sector in Nigeria. So these are some of the things that she brought about. She laid down a lot of structures that at the moment some offices or agencies will still be relying on as we speak.
Thank you so much for that. Fele Haza there joining us from Nigeria following the appointment of Dr. Okonjo-Iweala, who is now the 7th elected Director General of the World Trade Organization, and she starts her term on the 1st of March. She will be heading to Geneva later on this week. So let's quickly go to an ad break. When we come back, we're going to continue our conversation about what this exactly means, not only for the continent, but also a global perspective, and also looking into the organization that she steps into, as I said earlier on, that seems to have lost its persuasive power.